This is Soapbox After Dark. I am your host, Jamarl Thomas. On Soapbox After Dark, some of anything could come up on this channel in regards to the topic. I have other topics that I want to get to tonight, but I have to be honest, I kind of want to get a game of chess in, so I'm going to get a game of chess in. Just so happens, though, that my rating is at the 1900 level, close to it. I think I understand how to do chess on this channel and to make it enjoyable. It should mean something. So, in this case, I am given the opportunity to ascend to the ranks of the 1900s. This is a coveted honor that I fought long and hard in order to accomplish. All of this drama is going to take place in under 10 minutes, including a review of the game, a swift review of the game that takes place. I have no idea who the computer is going to choose for me. I have no idea who the person is. I have no idea what the person is. I only know at that moment. I don't choose what the person's rating is. I don't choose any of that. The computer plucks all of that. The guy could be rated 2200. The guy could be rated 1700. I don't have any power over it. But this game, if I win this game, will put me into the ranks of the 1900s. I take this as a sacred, solemn honor when I accept the challenge or take a challenge and do so for the channel. And I'm hoping that it matters that much more when it's a single game. And I've even thought about punishing myself if losing X number of games, like some kind of punishment, like quarter in a jar, then have to buy a funny hat or something. But I don't know. Nevertheless, let's get on to the game itself. I'm going to tamp down on my sound because I have music on and the music will give me pop for copyright violation. That said, I like to listen to tunes while I play. It allows me to zone out. So that is what's going to be taking place. Now, I am going to push myself down to Twitch level. All right, you can see the scene. Now, let's see. Let me move this over a little bit so the board can be, there we go. All right. And in fact, we can even make this a little bit bigger. There we go. There we go. Make it big, baby. Make it big. There we are. All right. I want the 1900 level. I've come a long way. And I've set this as a goal for myself to regain my skills. So this is somewhat of an objective level of skill. So when my rating goes up, I feel like I've done something. I've accomplished something on this. Not to mention, I don't want to look like an asshole in front of my audience. Even if it's 100 people, it's 100 people that I don't want to look like an asshole in front of. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, cutting the sound. Let's kick some ass. Wish me luck.
Check. 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 Time warning. Check. 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 Check.
It's a draw. Here's 3 seconds. I fucked up royally. Like, this game went from, I feel okay, to, oh my god, this is turning poorly. This is going bad. And I drop a piece. I drop a queen and he misses it. Now, this is kind of like one of those slip-ups that your brain is doing when you're like reading something that you've written. And you know XYZ is supposed to take place, but your brain skips over it. Your brain skips over this because it's not supposed to take place, meaning he assumes that you're not going to do what you just did, and because he's assumed that you're not going to do what you just did, he just misses it. He goes into his move. So I see Zuggy? Zuggy got his ass kicked this morning. Just let's be clear on that. All right. So King's Indian attack. It's a weird version just because of the way he's doing this night. White takes the center. And then this, I don't know how to proceed from here. I don't know where white goes with this. But my attempt was to try to create some kind of area over here, fortress of sorts. I was trying to release the bishop. Maybe this was a poor idea. I don't have the assets in order to try to release the bishop in this way. A better try might have been this. At the very least, I have something here, as opposed to what took place in the game. But let's... And this looks horrendous. This looks horrendous. And right here, I moved too fast. Why not that? I had already put the move into the computer, so I didn't get the opportunity to change it. But why not that? What's wrong with that? Doesn't that win a exchange? I think that wins the exchange. Alright, so that's a fuck up. And this hurts. As soon as I did it, I knew it hurt. I was like, oh god, it hurts, it hurts. And this looks horrendous. Like, I should lose here. And I'm looking at this like, God, I should lose here. There should be... how could I live this, survive this? Because this bishop is hitting on the background. This is why I moved the queen up. I want the king to get a square to move. But the moment that his queen gets back here, it's like, check. How do you survive that? That drops a piece. That drops a queen. He misses it. I tried to create drama.
Check. Check.
Alright. Now, right here is like, alright, how do you get out of this? And he only has 10 seconds. So he's on the clock. He's on the clock. Come up with an answer. Come up with an answer. And it's hard to come up with an answer like that. You need a moment to actually think about what the fuck is taking place.
Check.
And so he doesn't want to do anything that gets himself mated, because if he gives me one move, he gets checkmated on the move. So he can't give me one move. Now my
Check.
thing is, if I fuck around, I can get mated trying to mate him. So that means it's like, and we're at like 8 seconds. So think of it as a knife fight in a phone booth, where you have a time limit that you got to kill your opponent. It's like you're just wild beasts thrusting, swinging wildly like animals.
Check.
I feel like I should get mated here. So why not this?
Check.
Doesn't that win? Have it.
Check.
That mates. So my thing was, all right, I think I'm going to get mated. But he never deviated from what he was doing before. And he never deviated because he thought he wasn't sure whether or not he could win the game. Now me, my confidence would have been supreme. I would have just went for it. But I'm a grown man. And I don't know who Silver Knight is. But clearly he didn't have the balls to go for it. Don't mind me, just here to observe my eye. Just so we know, Zuggy got his ass kicked this morning. Zuggy got his ass kicked this morning. I am always on the lookout for Zuggy. And just so happens Zuggy popped up. Look, this game was a draw, so one more. I wanted there to be a real answer, not a, you know, let's do the real thing. By the way, I don't choose the opponents. Like this, 1900. All right, let's play. That's, I don't know what that is. Let's do this. Let's resolve that. Come on, we need to move. We need to move. We need to move. That's unpleasant. Oh, wait a minute. I can do that, right? No, I can't do that. Shit. That is an undignified place for a queen. Don't worry, baby. I'm gonna get you out there. Treat you bad now. That's okay. Hold the line. Hold the fucking line. Play chess. Come on. Play some chess. Give me that. Does that work? Can I do that? This. Yeah, alright, fine.
Check.
I'll take it. Oh, fucking hell. That piece was there.
Time warp.
Shut up. Bastard.
Check. Check.
Bastard. Motherfucker. Fine. You're gonna win this, sir, but I'm taking this pawn. Oh, fuck, I couldn't take the pawn. Oh. You have a stupid name. How about that? You have a stupid fucking name. Arpedquin. Nobody puts an R in front of their name like that. Alright. Well, I guess I have to go over the game. I have to honest to the cause. Something went. It's like, at what point does somebody tell the king that shit has gone awry? When the queen is back at like B1, man, or B8, shit is going wrong. This, I gotta be honest, this was difficult to deal with. It was like the game was lost to some degree, honestly, if you look at how the game ended up. Right here. This was untenable. This created a wedge in the two sides of the game space. Meaning, I couldn't really get any operations done because this thing was a bone in my throat. Think of it as disrupting operations on both sides of the board. So trying to resolve that, didn't resolve that. This gives operations, but the operations that are taking place are going around this wedge that's in the center of the board. The wedge is still there. And if those operations fizzle out, the wedge is still there. Meaning, yes, you're attacking around the issue, but the issue is kind of still there. You need to find some way to deal with the issue. Now, maybe one way would have tried to been to get the pawn here to try to disrupt this, to break this up. I'm not sure, but what I did not work. I didn't even think this was bad. I thought this was okay. Taking might have been premature. The knight is perfectly fine right here. The knight provides a certain tension on the queen, even though it's protected still. It's tension on the position. I thought about a sacrifice, but that was a little bit earlier. And it wouldn't work in this position anyway. Yeah, it wouldn't work in this position. I didn't want any knight dropping in here. Yeah, at this point, things look bad. Things look bleak. Like, you know, at this point, this is where, Manstein is in the Fuhrer bunker, and he's telling the Fuhrer, look, we have problems. Now, Hitler at this point is probably having this conversation about materials like, look, I need you to divert to this particular location because there are certain interests, like oil and materials that we need in order to make this machine run, where the military commanders are talking about something else. In this particular case, somebody is alerting the king and saying, look, things are not going as planned. We are not going to be finished just by Christmas. Or if we are finished by Christmas, is not into the, oh, look at this. This hurts. And that fucking bone in my throat that I couldn't do anything about comes back and stabs me square in my ass. I'm trying. Hold the line. Hold the line. I didn't think I had a choice on this. This is like one of those things in history where somebody says, whoa, he shouldn't have done that. Your problems came long before that. He shouldn't have done that. The problems were already there. The question becomes, what do I do? I saw the knight getting this, and I didn't mind giving up the exchange in this situation. Seeing as if that exchange allowed me to get rid of this bone that's in my throat, it may be worth it. And so I took it. That's why I took it. I didn't see that, if I'm being honest. I assumed he was going to get the rook, but I didn't see it the way he was going to get it.
Check.
All right, fair enough. You got your due. Leave me to my devices. But then I fuck up immediately after that. I didn't see the rook back here. Meaning, I didn't see this rook bearing down on this. And this puts black in somewhat of a difficult situation. I guess he could do this. This. Or hell. This. This looks bad. But where there's life, there's hope, right? That's what I've been told. I tend to agree with that motto. I think pessimism is a survival trait. It's not a survival trait. Now, but chess, there's rules.
Check.
Let's see, check. This doesn't mean anything at all. At this point, you're fucking around hoping he fucks up. Well, that loses. I can't do that. But this just sucks. Nobody wants to play this position. That position absolutely sucks. Because what's going to happen next? You have no capacity to attack your opponent. No capacity. And he has every capacity to hit you. Think of a fight where you have no ability to punch the other guy, but he just punches you in the face over and over again. Just slapping you around. Get up, boy, get up. This was brutal, man. I don't know what went wrong. I mean, granted, there are things that went wrong strategically, or the way the opening played out. I don't know what went wrong. This, right here. It's like a philosophical, ideological debate. If this works, this kills the opening. But I know I didn't play it completely correctly. That has to be dealt with. I mean, this is fine. That's fine. Fine. Alright. Too soon. Too soon. Too soon. What about this? I mean, this isn't going anywhere. And even if he castles. I mean, the point of it is, this knight can go back, but the point of it is to try to unravel those pieces. Because if that bone stays in my throat, it's just going to happen again. I'm looking at this because at some point, somebody else is going to play the same game. And this guy's stronger in him, National Master. Alright, I'm going to end this here. I didn't want this one to be all that long. Let's see, somebody, I think this was, I think I'm being taunted. Balthazar, I've never won a chess game. I did donate though. Oh, thank you, Balthazar. I appreciate it. I never won a chess game. You awaken a sleeping giant like when the Japanese bomb. I know. I know. I know. Oh, let me get one more game. I gotta get one more game in. I don't want to leave on a loss. And I'll do the same thing. I'll study the game afterwards. That's 2040. All right, this guy's strong also.
check, check, Check. Time warning. Check. Check. Check.
Unsheath sword. Fucking judo. 2040. Where are you from, buddy? Where are you from, mister? India. It's okay. You just ran into a superior man. There's no harm in that. There's no harm in that at all. It's just a matter of skill and technique. One day you'll get there. This is the Alakan that like gets chased to the far reaches of the board. But the logic of it is that White over expands himself. It's hypermodernism. It's a method of play. Like, you know, chess in many respects is kind of like life. There is no definitive way to play the game. And so people have various techniques or tactics that they play. And they write a myriad of books talking about these various tactics. Well, this is hypermodernism. Now, Black in this case is telling White that he has overexpanded himself. And White is saying, prove it. I'm going to take up as much space as I can gobble. I'm going to take everything that you give me. Prove it. Tell me that I'm wrong in this. And if you can't, then you lose.
Check.
I think this is somewhat awkward, but I could be wrong on that.
Check.
In fact, I do think it's awkward. I think this is bone in his throat. Not a complete one, but it stifles any level of development on the queen side for Black. And White gets to kind of own the center almost without any kind of back talk. And here's another bone in the throat. Now this is a bad move. Got overexcited. It's like Democrats screaming for impeachment. We must impeach this president! What we're going to impeach him on? Obstruction of justice. What was the justice that was being obstructed? You mean the fact that there was no collusion? Yes. That's what we're going to do. That's what this move is. This move is AOC and Rashid Tlaib and Ohan and Omar and what's her name? Elizabeth Warren screaming, we must impeach this president! That's what that move is. It's a bad move. I'm just saying. There were better moves. Like, I own the center. This is a better move. It's not a better move. I lose the pawn. But I don't like that move. I think that move is and if you notice, I immediately go to cover the fact that the queen is there because it's a bad move. Lost the pawn in that charade. Now, that said, that gives me... He has to pay attention to this. For the rest of the game, he has to pay attention to this. Because that thing can queen, especially if those rooks start to move away. The knight is a pain in my ass. I can't do anything about it, though. But if you notice, the pawn moves, the rook immediately gets pulled back. Forces have to be pulled back from one place because they're getting hit by another place. If Hitler... Here's a fun fact. Well, fact is too strong, but a fun, let's say, counter-history or counterfactual. If Hitler didn't think of the Japanese as being subhuman beings, and he actually worked with the Japanese in the war effort, before the United States got into the war, because the United States doesn't really talk about this, but they used to call the United States Britain's Italy. What they're saying, because Italy was such a horrible fucking army, they was trying to say when the United States first got into the war, they were a horrible army. We weren't necessarily put together. We weren't on set for center stage in this way. Lord knows when we left the army, however, we had military, like, fleets on both sides of the globe. It was a stunning fucking achievement in regards to, like, pumping and the war machine that was being pumped out. But If Hitler would have worked with the Japanese before the Americans would have gotten to the war, they would have been able to take the Soviet Union out of the war. Moscow would have been hit on that side of the globe, or Stalin being hit on that side would have meant that when he's at a certain point, material started to be moved more inland into Russia. If he would have been hit on that angle, it would have been impossible for him to be on both ends at the same time. The Soviet Union started pumping out massive amounts of materials, massive amounts of human beings. But up to that point, they were getting their ass handed to them. I mean, the German army looked at one point to be unstoppable. And if that was coupled with the Japanese attacking on the other end of the globe, or the other end of the Soviet Union, there was no way the Soviet Union would have remained in the war, which meant that Germany would have been able to turn its full attention to the Allies. Just saying, counterfactual. Alright, let's go back to the game board for a moment. Alright. At this point, your time is going down. So you got to make sure you don't get caught by just some weird quirk of sorts. You know, like you're not paying attention to something because you're trying to, you're avoiding disaster more so than trying to go after your opponent. Unless you get the opportunity to go after your opponent. In this case, I'm trying to go after my opponent.
Check. Check.
Because the fact of the matter is, when somebody has to worry about a mate threat, everything else stops. Just like this. Check. What do? If I move this piece back, this piece is susceptible to a mate threat.
Check.
At the very least,
check.
It pulls all of the stuff back. But I had to pay attention to that. I couldn't, I could have got slaughtered with some shit like that.
Check. Check.
Win. It's called a win. That's what winners get. That's what winners do. They win. That's what that looks like. My wife didn't like some of the colorful language I was using. She she came in earlier today to work on about this RIP Streamlabs. No, what are you talking about? I was using Streamlabs. It's right here. I have both of the windows up. Let's see. Get something off your chest. Clearly Jamal needs to get something off his chest. If criminals should have a vote, if criminals should be able to vote, why do Hillary Clinton, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Kissinger, Wall Street bankers, and Pentagon officials still have their voting rights? Not just still have their voting rights, Balthazar, but not even brought up on charges. Like, this premise is these guys are criminals. Well, nobody went to jail for crashing the world economy. Nobody. Let's see. No. Yeah, dude, I'm doing both. So I am paying attention. If I'd likened it to overthrowing Saddam, his not being in power might be objectively a good thing, but just erasing him caused way bigger problems. Yeah, right. That's a good example. It's like chess has so many of those examples, like when you're playing games. Yeah. All right, let me get one more game in. This will be the last game. Because I think the only way this works is if the games are like short or something like that. Or if not short, but it's like you have one game in the entire thing. But one more. 2100. Uh-oh. MI check. Ha ha ha. How colorful you are. I'm gonna kick his ass. Alright, I need to call upon the powers of a television show.
Before or after you started scrolling?
It happened ish after, close around the time I started screaming. But it was justified. It was justified, honestly. We do need another TV though. Alright, I'm resigning. Motherfucker, I hate that. Like, I don't mind losing. Like, it's one thing if I'm playing and I just lose, fair enough. I can take that. I have a thick hide in regards to losing. I used to lose a lot when I was younger. It's one of those things that kind of makes you better. But God, I hate mouse slips. And I hate mouse slips in games that you really want to win. Like, this position is perfectly fine. In fact, the entire point of what I was trying, I just wanted to push past. I didn't want to take. I just wanted to go straight. That's all I wanted. In that moment, in that infinitesimal, tiny, tiny, precious little moment, the only thing I wanted to do was push that pawn forward. Fucking kept away from me. Mouse slip. It's not that this is, necessarily the greatest move on the planet, but it was my move. It was my move. It was a move that I wanted to do. Mouse fucking slip. Mouse slip. I mean, this, he's not going to move it. He doesn't have to move it. He can even try to pile upon it. But the very next move that's coming up is this, to solidify that pawn sitting there. And if the other pawn comes up, this pawn comes up. This is a good position. The guy's rated 2100. This would have well pushed me over the 1900 bar. Ugh. Oh, anger and frustration, the rage. A man. Enraged. Motherfucker. All right, that sucked. That totally sucked. Take me to your grandmaster. If Jamal was ever contacted by chess playing aliens, I'm pretty sure they make he die a happy man. Do you know how weird that would be? Clearly Jamal needs to get something off his chest. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. God, that sucks. That hurts. That hurts so bad. It's like you're so close, you can taste it. You can taste it. I was going to win that game. I know I was going to win that game. I can't promise you that. I can't prove it. There's nothing I can do to get it across. My wife is like, was that you before or after the screaming? So earlier today, the dog was in the room. It was in the studio. We typically don't let the dogs in the studio. My wife was trying to help me out on this. And to be honest, I was trying to get them out myself. Calls for them. They take off like a lightning, like you said, cookie or something. And the dog grabs the television and the light and just drags it with him out. The TV slams to the thing, breaks. The mirror or the TV lenses shatter. The light itself is okay, so no issue with that. But the TV is fucked. I'm gonna have to get another television now. But any gentle touch of it tilts the television over. So, alright, I'm going to end this here. I did what I said I was going to do, ish. I said I was going to play any game that I lose, I was going to play over it. The point is to try to get better when you play. We did not get to the promised land. That was not something that took place in this particular one. And yes, I flipped out. But I would say that you should put yourself in my shoes when you're trying to accomplish an objective, and sometimes, gets the better of you. Like I said, I don't mind losing. It's the mouse slips. It's that cuts, because it's like the mouse slip at this very particular opportunity of trying to get past 1900. But that's okay. All right, let's do some news. Now, I have another story that I want to do that's actually a little bit more serious. serious and interesting in regards to what the countries involved are trying to get out of this. So let's take a look at this, and I'll end it here. Thanks all. And Zuggy, I'm still looking for you, dude. I'm still searching for Zuggy. Thanks all.